Okay, okay. So very good morning to all. Now, in today's lecture, we are going towards the pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. Before that, we have to revise the features. Okay. Now see, 8085 is a 8-bit microprocessor. Now, because of three reasons, ALU, that is where it is the unit where arithmetic and logic operation is performed, is 8-bit long. Internal external data bus is 8-bit long, and register is also 8-bit long. Operating frequency is 3 megahertz. Unless and until microprocessor does not receive operating frequency, it cannot work. Now, which is the device which is the device which is used to give the operating frequency, that is the oscillator. Okay, and as we know that 8085 has its internal clock generator, so we have to connect that clock generator at pin number 1 and pin number in between pin number 1 and pin number 2, that is in between x1 and x2, that we have seen in yesterday's class. Okay, now see, data bus is of 8 bit, address bus is of 16 bit. Again, due to 16-bit address, we can access 64 kilobytes of memory. Data bus is multiplexed with lower order address, that is A0 to A7. That's why the representation AD0 to AD7. Now, why we have to go for the multiplexing? To reduce the number of external lines or number of wirings. Now, to separate the address and data, we need a latch. Latch is a one kind of IC, and to activate that IC or to activate that switch, ALE signal is required. Power supply required is plus 5 volt. Serial communication is possible via 8085. There are two pins available for the serial communication, SID and SOD. Now see here, 8085 has on-chip clock generator. So on-chip clock generator, it is having its own on-chip clock generator. So that clock generator is connected in between X1 and X2 pin. Okay, and when we connect that to X1 and X2 pin, we get the operating frequency. Normally, the frequency generated by the clock generator is 6 megahertz. Okay, clock generator gives us the frequency divided by clock frequency divided by 2. Clock frequency is 6 megahertz, divided by 2 is nothing but 3 megahertz. And that's why the operating frequency of the microprocessor is 3 megahertz, which is, I think, the second feature we have already seen in the feature session. Now, next one is the interrupt. As we know that it is support 5 hardware interrupts. Now, again, what is meant by hardware interrupt? Means we can activate this by using the hardware, or we can again give the specific instructions to disable or enable that kind of interrupt. Out of that 5 interrupts, trap is the highest priority, which is vectored, means having specific address. Again, non-maskable means unavoidable. Remaining all are maskable. INTR is a user generated, that's why not having specific address. That's why it is called as a non-vectored. 8085 supports various registers. Out of that, BCD, HL are the general purpose register. Each register is 8-bit long. Each register is a kind of memory where we can store data or the result of operation, or we can store the address. But if we want to store the address, as we know that address is of 16-bit long, so single register can store 8-bit. We want to store 16-bit, so we need to use register in pair. So that 8-bit contains upper 8-bit in the upper register pair, that is B, lower in the C, upper in D, lower in E, upper in H, lower in L. In this manner, we can store 16-bit address, okay, in the register pair. Accumulator is a kind of register which is used in every arithmetic and logic operation to carry first operand. It also carries the result of the operation. Flag register, it can store the status of result. Program counter and stack pointer, both are the 16-bit registers. It is used to show the memory location. PC shows that memory location from where next instruction is to be executed. Okay. Now, when PC experience the branching instructions, then its sequence is going to be changed. So when going for the subroutine, the next location is stored in the stack pointer, and PC goes to the subroutine. It executes that subroutine, and then return back to the main program. Now after returning back to the main program, it will take the value stored in the stack pointer to execute the remaining program from the main program. Okay, so to enter the value into the stack is called as a push operation, and to take on the value from the stack is called as a pop operation. By every push operation, stack pointer decreases, value of the stack pointer decreases, and by every pop operation, value of the stack pointer increases. Okay, now 8085 has its own control buses to carry its control signal. Now there are 5 different ways through that we can give input data to the ALU to perform arithmetic and logic operation. Now these are immediate, where in the instruction only we can mention the data. Register addressing mode, in this kind of means addressing mode, instead of in the instruction we can mention the name of register where the data is stored. Okay, now direct addressing mode. In case of direct addressing, instead of showing the register or instead of giving data value directly, we can indicate the memory location where the data is to be stored for the operation. Indirect addressing, here we can indicate the address of address in the instruction. And now implied is nothing but whatever the value of the accumulator, the operation is performed on that value. So we need not to mention any operand externally. So in the successive concepts, there is a separate concept addressing mode. So we are going to look all these 5 addressing modes in detail at that time. So this is the basic structure, that is the architecture of 8085. It contains various blocks. During the explanation of architecture, once again I will repeat that you need not to explain each and every block in detail. Okay, there is a separate question on timing and control unit. There is a separate question on explain the general or explain the register section of the architecture. Okay, explain the ALU section of the architecture. So in that case, you have to explain each and everything in detail. Okay, once there is a question on only architecture, draw the architecture of 8085 and explain. You have to just mention if every blocks working in 2 to 3 lines. Okay, that is also sufficient. Now see, ALU, we have to revise fastly. ALU, what is ALU? It is an 8-bit register. It can store the first operand during the operation. Again, it can able to store the result. Okay, now next, temporary register. There are 2 temporary registers, W and Z. Each temporary register is 8-bit long. Okay, it is not available for the user. That's why it is called as invisible registers. Now ALU perform the arithmetic and logic operations. Now after performing the arithmetic and logic operation, the result is stored back into the accumulator and the status is given to the flag register. It is the 8-bit register. Out of 8-bit, we are going to use 5 flags. Now you have to explain the successive flag. First flag is a carry flag. When it's set, when the carry is generated from 8-bit. When it is reset, when carry is not generated from the 8-bit. Okay. Next one is your parity flag. Parity flag, when it is 1, when there is an even number of ones in the answer. Now 0 flag means when parity flag is 0, when there is a odd number of ones in the answer. Next one is auxiliary carry flag. When there is a generation of the carry from D3 bit to D4 bit, then this flag is going to set. When otherwise it is going to reset. Next one is a 0 flag, when your answer or when the answer performed by the operation performed by the ALU result into answer 0, then this flag is set, otherwise reset. And last one is a sign flag. When your answer is positive, it is 0. When your answer is negative, it is 1. When your answer is positive, when MSB bit is 0. When your answer is negative, when MSB bit is 1. Instruction register. Now it takes it is connected in between buses and the instruction decoder. So what is instruction registers use? It will take the opcode from the instruction from the bus and given that to the instruction decoder. Or in short, what we can say, instruction register holds the opcode, okay, and given it to the instruction decoder. Now, what is the use of instruction decoder? After receiving the opcode from the instruction register, instruction decoder decodes the instructions and generates appropriate timing and control signal. Timing and control signal, timing se use ka hai? It is used to synchronize the sequence. And control, it is used to generate the control signal, and that control signal is given to all internal sections. Okay. Now this is the general purpose register. This is stack pointer, program counter, increment and decrement latch. Increment and decrement latch, after every operation, increment and decrement latch increments or decrements the address memory locations by 1. Okay. Now see, address buffer or data buffer. It is used to maintain the flow of data. Interrupt controller, it is used to maintain the interrupt section. Okay, whenever there is execution of the main program and sub program is going to be executed, then it is controlled by the interrupt controller. There are 5 interrupts. INTR is a user generated. So to give the acknowledgement to the user, system generate INTA signal in the as a response. Okay, and last one is the serial control. For the serial control, 8085 supports the serial communication, and for the serial communication, we are having 2 pins, SID and SOD. SID pin receives the serial input, SOD pin gives the serial output. So this is in short revision of the architecture. Now we need to come back towards the pin diagram. As we know that 8085 is a 40 pin IC. So now in today's lecture, we have to look remaining pins one by one. So yesterday we have taken the look on 4 pins, that is X1 and X2. So what is the use of X1 and X2 pin? Within a 2 sentence, you can explain this one. What X1 and X2 pin is used to connect the oscillator. Okay. Now, what is the use of oscillator? It is used to generate the operating frequency for the 8085. So within a 2 sentence, how we can say what is the use of X1 and X2 pin? In between X1 and X2 pin, we connect crystal oscillator, which is used to generate the operating frequency for 8085. Now you tell me whether you can understand this concept or not. Yes or no? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Now next, reset out. But before understanding the concept of reset out, we have to look towards the 36 number pin, that is reset in pin. Okay. Now see this diagram. Okay. So see, reset in pin is nothing but the input pin. Why input? Because there is the inward arrow going inside the 8085. So it is an input pin. Now see, what is the use of reset in pin? When user want to turn off or switch off the 8085 IC, user generates or activates this reset in signal. Now reset in signal is how we can say it is an active low signal. Means when user want to activate this signal, user has to give low value or 0 value to the 36 pin. Okay. So what is the use of 36 pin? Only 2 to 3 lines. Now see, first line. When user want to turn off the 8085 or when user want to turn off the microprocessor, user activate reset in signal. Now how user activate? User activate this signal by giving low value to this signal. Okay. Now once this pin is activated, 8085 come to know that we have to reset now. Now during the reset, now what are the tasks is performed by 8085? There are 2 to 3 main tasks is performed by 8085. Out of that, first main task is to activate the reset out pin. Okay. Once a reset in pin is received by 80, it will activate the reset out pin. So what is the use of reset out pin? 2 use. First use, user come to know that microprocessor is going to reset within a 2-3 minutes. Okay. And second, whatever the peripherals are there, they also get the signal that we have to switch off now. Because why? Because 8085, which is the driver, okay, is going to switch off. So we have to also switch off now. Yesterday we have seen the one example, that is when you are going to hear the sound from the speaker, and when you turn off your PC, then you cannot get the voice from the speaker. Why? Because automatically speaker also get turned off. Okay. So why speaker get turned off? Because when we pressing the shutdown, means we are activating reset in signal. After receiving that signal, microprocessor generates reset out, and that reset out signal going towards the speaker, and it tells the speaker that आम्ही बंद होतोय आता तुम्ही पण बंद व्हा. समजते? So this kind of operation is being performed in 8085. So in short, now you have to explain the working of 2 pins, 36 pins and pin number 3. Now 36 pins. How you can explain? First thing, 36 pin is nothing but reset in bar. Okay, it is active low input pin. परत एकदा ऐका. It is active low input pin. Active low means what? if we want to activate it, we have to apply the low value. Okay, so reset in is an active low input pin. When user want to reset or when user want to switch off the microprocessor, it will activate this signal by giving low value to it. Okay, now here second sentence झालं. How to explain the third sentence? After receiving the reset in signal, microprocessor activates reset out signal. Now reset out, there is a no bar, means what? Reset out is an active high signal. So after receiving the resetting signal, microprocessor gives high value to pin number 3. Now see, pin number 3 is the output pin. At the bottom side you can see it is output pin. So microprocessor gives value 1 to this pin. So means what? It gets activated. After receiving, means activating the reset out signal, it will turn off the peripheral. Understood? Again, after means हे एक ऑपरेशन झालं की तो रिसेट होताना हे करतो. आणखी काय काय करतो? Along with that, it will do some basic operations for the reset. Now, which are these basic operations? Now, see, it will first clear the value of PC. Clearing means what? Assigning 0. So PC get reached to 0, 0, 0, 0. So when you turn on the microprocessor during next day or during next time, you will get the PC starting from 0, 0, 0, 0. Why? Because before, at the time of shutdown, PC get clear its value and it reached to 0, 0, 0, 0. Again, it will clear the internal registers. Again, it will disable all the interrupts. Again, it will disable SOD pins. Again, it will tri-stated all the buses. Means buses cannot act as a input bus or cannot act as a output bus. Means what? They at all not carry any data. Okay? Okay? समजलं का? हॅलो,
रिपीट once again.
अजून एकदा रिपीट करायचं.
हो.
ओके, सी पिन नंबर X1 आणि X2. X1 आणि X2 चा यूज तुम्ही काय सांगणार? इथं आपण क्रिस्टल ऑसिलेटर कनेक्ट करू शकतो आणि ते क्रिस्टल ऑसिलेटर मायक्रोप्रोसेसरला लागणारी ऑपरेटिंग फ्रिक्वेन्सी जनरेट करेल. दॅट्स इट. ओके, एवढाच यूज आहे त्याचा. नाव नेक्स्ट, रिसेट इन आणि रिसेट आउट पिनचा यूज काय आहे? तुम्हाला जेव्हा पिन डायग्राम तुम्ही एक्सप्लेन करता तेव्हा या दोन पिन तुम्हाला कंबाईनली किंवा एकत्रच एक्सप्लेन कराव्या लागतात. तुम्ही सिक्वेन्सनी नाही जाऊ शकत. 1 2 झालं की 3 3 झालं की 4 नाही. रिसेट इन आणि रिसेट आउट एकत्र यूज होतो. त्यांचा ऑपरेशन सुद्धा त्यांचे एकावर एक डिपेंड आहे. जेव्हा रिसेट इन ऍक्टिव्हेट होतो तेव्हाच रिसेट आउट ऍक्टिव्हेट होतो. ओके, सो सी रिसेट इन पिनचा यूज काय आहे की जेव्हा तुम्हाला मायक्रोप्रोसेसर बंद करायचा असतो तेव्हा रिसेट इन सिग्नल युजर ऍक्टिव्हेट करतात. रिसेट इन रिप्रेझेंट कसा केला जातो? रिसेट इन बार म्हणजे काय? हा ऍक्टिव्ह लो आहे. म्हणजे युजरला जर याला ऍक्टिव्हेट करायचं असेल तर युजरला याला लो सिग्नल द्यावा लागतो. ओके, सो जेव्हा मायक्रोप्रोसेसर रिसेट इन सिग्नल रिसीव्ह करतो की त्याला जेव्हा कळतं की आता आपल्याला बंद व्हायला सांगितलंय तेव्हा तो काय करतो? रिसेट आउट सिग्नल जनरेट करतो. रिसेट आउट सिग्नल जनरेट करून तो काय करतो? तर जे काही पेरिफेरल डिव्हाइसेस, बाहेरचे डिव्हाइसेस आहेत, मग त्याला प्रिंटर, स्कॅनर, जे काही तुमचे बाकीचे डिव्हाइसेस असतील ते जे तुम्ही सिस्टीमला कनेक्ट केलेले आहेत, डिस्प्ले असतील, एलईडीज असतील, स्विचेस असतील, तो ते सगळे तो बंद करतो बाय जनरेटिंग रिसेट आउट सिग्नल. अगेन ते तर एक ऑपरेशन त्यांनी केलं. मग स्वतःमध्ये तो काय करतो? तर पीसीची व्हॅल्यू जी काही असेल, आपण बघितलं काय की जेव्हा आपण कम्प्युटर स्टार्ट करतो, आपण फॉर एक्झाम्पल वेगवेगळे कामं करतो. मग प्रत्येक वेळेस काय होतं? पीसीची व्हॅल्यू एकनी इन्क्रीमेंट होत होत मेमरी लोकेशन तिथं वेगवेगळे असाइन होतात आणि आपला डेटा सेव्ह तरी होतो किंवा सेव्ह केलेला डेटा घेतला तरी जातो. ओके, पण आता जेव्हा बंद करायची वेळ येते तेव्हा पीसीला आपल्याला काय करायचंय? पीसी काय करतो? मायक्रोप्रोसेसरला 0ला आणून ठेवतो. म्हणून जेव्हा तुम्ही नेक्स्ट टाइम जेव्हा पीसी ऑन करता तेव्हा तुम्हाला आधीचं तिथं काही दिसत नाही ओपन झालेल्या फाईल वगैरे. समजा आता तुम्ही पीपीटी करताय, तुम्ही टर्न ऑफ केला, नंतर 3-4 दिवसांनी जेव्हा तुम्ही परत ऑन करताल पीसी, तुम्हाला त्या पीपीटी दिसतात का? तिथं नाही दिसत. तुम्हाला परत जिथं त्या सेव्ह केल्या होत्या तिथून ओपन कराव्या लागतात. असं का होतं? कारण जेव्हा तुम्ही फर्स्ट टाइम रिसेट किंवा बंद करत होता किंवा शटडाऊन करत होता तेव्हा काय झालेलं असतं? मायक्रोप्रोसेसरने सगळं 0ला आणून ठेवलेलं असतं आणि म्हणून मग आपलं नव्याने तिथून नेक्स्ट टाइम जेव्हा हे करतो तेव्हा रिस्टार्ट करतो तेव्हा 0 पासून स्टार्ट होतं. मग अगेन तो काय करतो, जे काही इंटरप्ट काही जनरेट झाले असतील त्यांना पण डिसेबल करतो, एसओडी पिन ज्या काही असतील त्यांना पण डिसेबल करतो. इनपुट म्हणजे डेटा बसेस ज्या असतात त्यांना, डेटा असू दे, ऍड्रेस असू दे किंवा कंट्रोल बसेस, त्यांना पण झिरोला आणून ठेवतो की त्यांच्यावर कुठलाही डेटा नाहीये. सो जेव्हा आपण नेक्स्ट टाइम स्टार्ट करू परत त्या 0 पासून स्टार्ट करणार. तुम्ही म्हणाल मॅडम ह्याची काय गरज आहे, तर फॉर एक्झाम्पल मला 2+3 करायचंय. ओके, डेटा बस जर 0 असतील तर त्या एकदा 2 ला घेऊन जातील, एकदा 3 ला घेऊन जातील. येस, पण जर आधी मी ह्याला रिसेट नाही केलं किंवा 0ला आणून नाही ठेवलं तर काय होईल बघा. आधीची कन्सिडर करा की आधी तुम्ही फॉर एक्झाम्पल आधीचा आन्सर तुमचं 11 आहे आणि नंतर तुम्ही त्याला डेटा 2 घ्यायला सांगताय. ओके, तर मग काय होईल, ते 11 2 मध्ये ऍड होईल आणि तुम्हाला 13 म्हणजे गार्बेज व्हॅल्यू तिथे दिसेल. ओके, जे प्रिव्हियसली काही डेटा असू दे तो जर तुमच्या डेटामध्ये मिक्स होईल आणि तुम्हाला गार्बेज व्हॅल्यू किंवा डिझायर्ड किंवा ऍक्युरेट आउटपुट मिळणार नाही. त्यामुळे मायक्रोप्रोसेसरची काय रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आहे की जेव्हा तो रिसेट बंद होतोय तेव्हा त्यांनी सगळं आहे तिथं आणून ठेवावं, जेणेकरून नेक्स्ट टाइम जेव्हा तुम्ही ऑपरेट करताल त्याला, तेव्हा तुम्हाला आहे तिथून सगळ्या वस्तू ऍक्सेस करता येतील. समजतंय? सो इन शॉर्ट, रिसेट इन आणि रिसेट आउट पिनचा यूज काय बघा. आता मी परत एकदा सांगते. हार्डली 3 ते 4 लाईन मध्ये तुम्हाला रिसेट इन आणि फक्त एका लाईन मध्ये रिसेट आउट एक्सप्लेन करायचे. नाव रिसेट इन. Now reset in pin is the active low signal. Okay, it is activated when low signal is applied to it. Now when it is activated, when user want to reset the microprocessor, it will activate the reset in signal. Okay, now ठीक आहे, आता रिसेट इन मिळालं, त्याला कळालं आता बंद व्हायचंय ना. मग आता मायक्रोप्रोसेसर काय करतो बघा. आफ्टर रिसिव्हिंग द रिसेट इन सिग्नल, microprocessor generates reset out signal to turn off all the peripheral devices. पहिलं त्यांनी काय केलं, रिसेट आउटला जनरेट केला, हाय केला, ऍक्टिव्हेट केलं आणि सगळ्या पेरिफेरल डिव्हायसेसला सांगितलं की आता तुम्ही बंद व्हा. ओके, पहिली गोष्ट. आणि नंतर मग परत काय केलं, अगेन ड्युरिंग द रिसेट इट विल clear the PC value or it will clear the IR values, it will clear all the interrupts, it will clear whatever the data present in the SID or SOD pins. Again, it will tri-stated all the buses. What is mean by tri-state? That single bus is not used as the input or output bus. इनपुट आणि आउटपुट बस म्हणजे काय बघा. आता तुम्ही कॉलेज बसने समजा कॉलेजला येत असाल तर सिटी मधून तुम्ही कॉलेजला जेव्हा जाता तेव्हा ती बस म्हणजे काय काम करते, इनपुट म्हणून काम करते की कॉलेजला मुलांना आणून सोडते. कॉलेज सुटल्यावर काय होतं की तीच बस तुम्हाला सिटीमध्ये आणून सोडते. याचा अर्थ काय, त्यावेळेस तिने आउटपुट म्हणून काम केलं. बस एकच आहे म्हणजे काय, वायर एकच आहे कनेक्टिंग. ती डेटा सिस्टीमला देते का सिस्टीम पासून पेरिफेरल डिव्हायसेसला देते, याच्यानुसार ती आयो म्हणजे आयदर इनपुट म्हणून तरी काम करेल किंवा आउटपुट म्हणून काम करेल. पण जेव्हा ती रिसेट असती म्हणजे जेव्हा मायक्रोप्रोसेसर रिसेट होणार असतो तेव्हा ती ट्रायस्टेटेड असते. ट्रायस्टेटेड म्हणजे काय की डेटा ती घेऊनच जात नाही, आहे तिथंच थांबतात त्या बसेस. समजतंय? सो this all about the reset. Now you tell me whether you understood. Are you getting or not? मला चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये रिप्लाय द्या सगळ्यांनी. टुडे म्हणजे आतापर्यंत आपण 4 पिन्स क्लिअर केलेल्या आहेत. ओके, फास्ट रिप्लाय द्या so that I come to know whether we have to repeat or next go towards the next concept. ओके, ठीक आहे. Now see, next is nothing but the interrupt session. Before that, SID and SOD pins. Serial IO ports. Now we have seen the working of pin number 1, pin number 2, pin number 3 and pin number 36. Now next pin is SOD and SID. SOD and SID. तुम्ही म्हणाल मॅडम या 2 डायग्राम कसले आहेत, तर या 40 पिन्स शॉर्ट मध्ये तुम्हाला लक्षात ठेवायसाठी ही पुढची डायग्राम आहे. ओके, 40 पिन्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कशा झालेल्या ते या डायग्राम वरून कळेल. ओके, पण शॉर्ट मध्ये लक्षात कसं ठेवायचंय, मग हा इनपुट सेक्शन आहे, इथं सगळ्या तुम्हाला इनपुट पिन्स दिसतील. अगेन हा आउटपुट सेक्शन आहे, इथं तुम्हाला बाहेर जाणारे ॲरो दिसतील, म्हणून हे काय आउटपुट सेशन आहे. आणि हे जे काय आहे ते ऍड्रेस मल्टिप्लेक्स विथ डेटा बसेस आहेत आणि या ऍड्रेस बस आहेत आणि इथं पॉवर सप्लाय आहे तुमचा. ओके, X1 X2 च्या मध्ये बघा इथं क्रिस्टल ऑसिलेटर कनेक्ट केलेला आहे. ऑसिलेटरचं फंक्शन काय असतं, टू जनरेट द फ्रिक्वेन्सी. सो ती इथं जनरेट झालेली दिसेल. नाव सी, पिन नंबर 4 अँड पिन नंबर 5. Pin number 4 and pin number 5 is used for the serial communication. First thing. Second sentence काय सांगणार, SOD pin is used for the serial output data. SID pin is used for सिरियल इनपुट डेटा. दॅट्स इट. फक्त 3 सेंटेन्स मध्ये तुम्हाला या 2 पिनचं वर्किंग. इथं बघा एसआयडी इनपुट आहे म्हणजे काय, सिरियल इनपुट जर सिस्टीमला द्यायचं झालं तर ही पिन असते. सिस्टीम कडून जर सिरियल आउटपुट घ्यायचं झालं तर ही पिन असते. ओके, सो वन्स अगेन SOD and SID. SOD and SID or pin number 4 and pin number 5 is a is used for the serial communication. SOD pin used for the serial output data and SID pin used for serial input data. कळालं का हे? Are you getting or not?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now next तुम्हाला माहित असलेला सेशन आहे सी. RST 7.5 RST 6.5 RST 5.5 INTR and trap 6 7 pin number 6 7 8 9 10 11. It is used for interrupt session. Okay, these generate the interrupt. Now see, you already know lot about the interrupt. What is mean by interrupt? Interrupt is nothing but any intermediate task coming when microprocessor is going to execute some important task. Okay, now whatever the subroutine or subprogram generated, it is classified into different types of the interrupt. Now trap interrupt. Trap, that is nothing but pin number 6. Trap is a non-maskable. As we know that we cannot avoid this interrupt. It has the highest priority. Okay, it cannot be disabled as it has the highest priority. Okay, we cannot disable means what? Whenever trap is generated, microprocessor has to attend the trap first and then comes to for the remaining execution among all the hardware interrupt. It is both edge and level trigger. Now here is one new concept, level and edge trigger. Okay. Okay, I will explain this in a later session after the completion of pin diagram. Level and edge trigger. What is mean by level and edge trigger? So it means trap signal must go from low to high or it must remain high for a certain period of time. Trap is actually used for power failure and emergency shutoff. Okay. Next, RST 7.5. Again, it is a pin number 7. हा कसला interrupt आहे? It is a maskable interrupt. It is a second highest priority interrupt. It is a positive edge triggered only. Okay. What is meant by triggered? That is edge triggered or level triggered. We will see in the next section after the completion of entire 40 pin explanation. See, RST 6.5. It is again maskable. Means what? We can avoid this interrupt. It has the third highest priority. It is a level trigger only. RST can be enabled by EI instruction and it can be disabled by DI. Enable interrupt or disable interrupt. So we can enable or disable this instruction by this interrupt by using instructions. RST 5.5, it is a maskable, means we can avoid this. It is the fourth highest priority. It is also level trigger. This interrupt is very similar to RST 6.5. Now INTR, it is a kind of different interrupt. Why? Because it is generated by the user. It is a maskable interrupt, means we can avoid this interrupt. It has the lowest priority. Okay, we will know that. It is also level trigger. It is a general purpose interrupt. General purpose means what? It is accessible by the user. Okay. By general purpose, we mean that it can be used to vector microprocessor to any specific subroutine having any address. Why any address? Because it is not having specific address. That's why it can able to move to any address. Okay. And it is generated by the user. Okay. Now, see, as it is generated by the user come to know whether it is properly received or not. So to give its acknowledgement, we need one signal from the system. So INTA is a response generated by the system. It stands for interrupt acknowledgement. INT interrupt, A for acknowledgement. So INTA stands for interrupt acknowledge. It is an outgoing signal. All these are the input. Okay, while INTA is the output, means what? It is generated by the system in the response to INTA signal. It is active low signal. Low output on this pin indicates that microprocessor has acknowledged the INTR request. Okay. Now, to understand this concept, simply consider when we on the caps lock. Okay. there is some LED glows. We activating the cap lock means what? We are giving input, and LED glows is the response by the system. That system tell us that caps lock is on. Similarly, when INTA signal is given to the system, see, INTR signal is input. So user gives this signal. So to tell the user, microprocessor generates INTA signal or activates the INTA signal. That when it get activated, if we consider, means if we connect one LED here, then it will glow. So after, means by seeing that glowing LED, how user come to know? What user come to know? User come to know that INTR signal is received by the microprocessor. Okay. Now, is it okay? Is it okay? Yes or no? What we can say about the pin number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? It is an interrupt session or interrupt control station. There are 5 input pins: trap, RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5. These are the 4 system generated interrupts which are vectored. Okay, and priority is going to decrease from trap to 7.5 to 6.5 to 5.5. Lowest priority is INTR. As INTR is a user generated, to give its acknowledgement, system generates INTA signal. INTA is how INTA is represented. It is represented as INTA bar. Means what? It is active low signal. When we apply low value to it, it gets activated. Now, to activate this signal, microprocessor gives low value to INTA, and when it activated, user come to know that successfully microprocessor receives INTA TR signal, which we have sent to it. Okay, next. Pin number 12 to pin number 19. See, AD0, AD1, AD2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So pin number 12 to pin number 19 is used to transfer address or data. Okay. Now these pins are these pins are the bidirectional pins. See in this diagram, you can say bidirectional. Why? Because it can carry data as well as it can carry address. Now, if I have given the value C 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, okay. Now, how we can represent this value? FF. Okay. So 1 1 1 1. 4 वेळा 1 म्हणजे किती आले सांगा आपले 8421 यूज करून? 15. Okay. How we can represent 15 in hexadecimal? F. So मी जर या 8 पिनला 111 केलं, then system, how come system comes to know whether we have to treat this 111 as a data or whether we have to treat this 111 as a address? So to acknowledge this, so whether it is a data or whether it is an address, there is a pin number 30. See, pin number 30 is address latch enable. So when this signal, now see, ALE signal is active one, means it is active low or active high. It is an active high signal. So when it is 1, whatever the value present in these lines is treated as address. And when it is 0, whatever the value present in these lines is treated as data. Okay. Now see, pin number 20 and pin number 40, it is used to give the power supply. See, 40 and 20. 40 plus 5 volt, pin number 20, ground. So whatever the operating voltage, that is we have mentioned in the feature session, that is the plus 5 volt, it is applied to the pin number 20 and 40. Okay. Now next, pin number 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, and 28. So these 8 pins carry higher order address. Okay. So see, 21 to 28. These pins carry higher order address bus. And what is the use of bus? To carry the value. Now these pins is used to carry address. That's why it is used as an address bus. Now address is always outgoing. Why? Because system tells whether which location is to be accessed. Okay. So why it is not present, means why it is bidirectional? Because it is used for data also. Data may be input or data may be output. You can save the PPT into the PC, or you can take the save the PPT from the PC. That's why it is a bidirectional. But address bus is always unidirectional and it contains outward arrow. Why it is so? Because address is always going to tell by the microprocessor. Okay, so that's why it is always outward arrow. Okay, now next pin, very important, that is pin number 31 and 32. Now see, pin number 31, that is WR bar. It is also read as write bar. Okay, again pin number 32, it read as read bar. So 31 is write bar, 32 is a read bar. 31 and 32, both pins are active low pins. Active low means what? When we are applying low signal, it gets activated. Okay, now what is the use of this pin? Now see, pin number 31 is a write, means what? This pin is used for during write operation. Now see, now before going to this concept, you have to clear your idea about the read and write.